Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here for KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Whitney Ward. Tonight we are getting ready for a major winter storm that will bring heavy snow across the entire area overnight. Right now we have team coverage following this storm and the preparations for it. Our Nathan Hyun and Janelle Finch are looking into how road crews and people are preparing ahead of the snowfall. In the meantime, our chief meteorologist Jeremy Legoo is here in the Weather Center tracking this storm. So Jeremy, what can you tell us about when the real action starts?
It's going to try. A storm like this, Whitney, it's going to have a lot of those this is it moments, but it's not actually it. I don't think it starts until after we are nestled in bed tonight. But that doesn't mean you won't see any little bit of snow out ahead of it. Right now, we have those winter storm warnings in effect for Wednesday and Thursday across the region. Up to 16 inches in some places of North Idaho, 6 to 10 for Spokane. You're going 6 to 10, that's a huge range. It's more like 6 to 8 initially, with more possible as we get into the day on Thursday. Right now, we are seeing a little bit of that snowy activity. Some of those light flakes trying to come down just north of downtown and just south of downtown. But that is really going to be about it. A bulk of that activity now moving into the Cascades. By tonight, it takes over much of the inland Northwest. I really think the midnight hour is kind of our sweet spot here in Spokane and over in Coeur d'Alene. And then it just continues. Eastern Washington, North Idaho taking the brunt of this storm through early Wednesday morning. By the middle of the day, we'll see some gusty wind, some heavy snow persisting, and then it eventually starts to wind down. I think it really takes until tomorrow afternoon, just before sunset, before we start to see that snow start to taper off. Doesn't mean we're completely done with it. We likely get a little more on the backside of this system heading into Thursday. Snowfall forecast. Once again, kind of 6 to 8 initially. I think 6 to 8 is tomorrow, that up to 10 moment. That happens as we get into Thursday. 7 to 11 for Coeur d'Alene, 4 to 8 for St. Mary's. How about 10 to 16 in Chewelah and Sandpoint? That's some serious snow. 8 to 12 in Omak. We are talking a very snowy few days ahead, and those temperatures staying cold enough that most of it is snow. Some are going to see rain, but you have to head farther south to find some of that.
All right, Jeremy, thank you. And here at KREM 2, we are dedicated to giving you more to every story. So we wanted to put in perspective how interesting of a weather month we've already had in November. Just last month, actually, was the warmest October on record for Spokane. Now, just 1 month later, we are the 5th coldest November ever. Meanwhile, in addition to the cold temperatures this month, we have seen 10.9 inches of snow, and still counting, of course, making it a record 23 days with snow on the ground. Finally, the last time we saw more than 8 inches of snow in just one day, well, that was in December of 2020. Well, crews with the city of Spokane have been very busy. They've been scheduled overnight and early tomorrow morning. KREM 2's Nathan Hyun is here now to tell us more about the city's plan to clear those roads as the snow continues to fall. Nathan?
Whitney, as people get ready for the big storm, the city is also preparing to clean roads and streets. They say that once the storm hits, they will go into a full city plow. The city says that they are now on 24-hour operations. That means that once the roads get slick or have snow on them, city plows will start hitting the main roads within city limits and rotate through them as needed. The city prioritizes main arterials and hills, then school zones, and then residential neighborhoods. The Washington State Patrol says to be prepared for events on the road as the snow comes down.
And we always say slow down, leave following distance, things like that. But pre-planning, I'm big on that. Like, make sure you know your route ahead of time and kind of understand that in events like this, it's going to be slow going, and you will probably encounter some kind of traffic event.
There are now 4 different satellite locations throughout the city where plows can fill up with salt. Compared to years past, the city hopes these locations allow plows to increase their efficiency. The city says it could take up to 3 days for all neighborhoods to have at least 1 plow come through. So the Washington State Department of Transportation plows state routes and interstates. They are also on 24-hour operations. Live in Spokane, Nathan Hyun, KREM 2 News.
In the meantime, people are preparing ahead of tonight's storm as well. Janelle Finch is joining us now. She has been talking to plenty of people who are out and about today, getting supplies before the storm actually hits. So Janelle, what have you seen people stocking up on?
That's right, Whitney. People have been picking up all kinds of things from cat food all the way to chicken. And of course, people are wanting to stock up on toilet paper. They told me that is a big get before the winter snow comes in. This is all before one of the bigger snowstorms of this season hits us. So the dinner shopping rush is a little busier than usual. I spoke with customers here at the Rose Hours on 29th about how they're preparing to spend a little more time at home. A lot of them were rushing in for the last minute essentials as we are down to the final hours before the snow starts to really come down. Shoppers say they're preparing to be stuck inside for the next 2 to 3 days. I spoke with one shopper who said he's grabbing groceries he can make stretch if needed.
Things you can they go a long way. You got rice, you got peanut butter, steaks, bread, cheese, milk, a lot of vegetables.
Shoppers say they were surprised to see snow already start to fall Tuesday afternoon. Many parents are waiting to find out if school is canceled. That could mean having extra snacks to get through the day. One shopper told me he is ready for the snow to come down. Him and his family are preparing for it by making sure that they grab a lot of hot chocolate for the fort that they plan to build later this week. Live in Spokane, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.
Absolutely. Hot chocolate is going to be an essential item here for the next several days. Janelle, thank you very much. In the meantime, ahead of the snowstorm, we are also expecting Spokane Public Schools to make big decisions about whether they plan to cancel school on Wednesday. The district today said it has a team watching the forecast very closely, and they will also have workers drive the bus routes early tomorrow morning to see if they are passable. They'll be doing that between 1 and 2 a.m. Then, depending on the conditions at that hour, SPS will decide whether to cancel, delay, or continue with a regular school day. Superintendent Dr. Adam Swinyard says they take that decision very seriously because it affects so many families.
The conditions can sometimes change pretty quickly and can be unpredictable, and so we're trying to be as mindful as that as possible, and we're always balancing giving as much advance notice as we possibly can with making the most appropriate decision possible.
So if the roads are clear enough for kids to get to school in the morning, SPS says early release is unlikely, even if it continues snowing throughout the day. So right now they say early release can cause a lot more problems than it helps, oftentimes because of parents' work schedules. So we will certainly keep you updated when they make that decision. In the meantime, schools and colleges across the area, some have already decided to cancel classes tomorrow ahead of the storm. So far, we know of West Bonner County School District. They're closed tomorrow. So is Spokane Falls Community College, Spokane Community College, and CCS Head Start facilities. Medical Lake School District says it will have a 2-hour delay tomorrow and will then let families know no later than 7 a.m. if they're going to close. Of course, we will continue to update you on any school closures and delays on KREM.com, and also you can start watching Up with KREM tomorrow morning starting at 5 a.m. So as winter weather is certainly impacting our area, we are going to continue to track the latest with the storm. However, remember, you can always get the latest forecast and information on KREM.com. All right, developing tonight, a trailer caught fire near the large homeless encampment near I-90 in Freya this afternoon. Spokane Fire Department responded to the camp, and when they arrived, we're told a small RV trailer was on fire. It was close to other tents as well as campers, and a dog was inside the trailer but did make it out safely. No one was hurt. Currently, the camp's fire plan for the winter is for a point person to walk around looking for fire dangers every hour. The Spokane Fire Department says the trailer fire today likely won't change regulations, though, at the camp.
There was well over 20 fire extinguishers in people's hands that were making quick work of the fire and keeping it in check until the fire department was able to arrive, including the fire marshal himself. So, you know, I'm comfortable with the measures that the fire marshal put into place.
So that trailer will be removed from the camp. Spokane Fire Department says it is now investigating exactly what started the fire. Today, as investigators continue looking for a suspect in the murders of 4 University of Idaho students, we are now learning a tow truck has been towing the cars parked in front of the Moscow home now where those 4 students were killed just over 2 weeks ago. Moscow police had previously told us the cars had been searched for potential evidence. They did not confirm what was found. At this point, we are still working to learn more about where those cars are being taken. In the meantime, tonight, the University of Idaho community is preparing to gather and honor the lives of Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle. A campus candlelight vigil is planned for tomorrow evening at U of I. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk has been in Moscow this afternoon. He has details tonight on that memorial.
This vigil was originally scheduled a few days after the murders, but the University of Idaho decided to wait until after Thanksgiving break so that more students could attend. And now with snow in the forecast, the vigil will now be taking place inside the Kibbe Dome. This will be an opportunity for the Vandal community to come together and honor the memory of Ethan, Xana, Madison, and Kaylee. It's one of several vigils planned across the state of Idaho tomorrow. Vigils also taking place in Coeur d'Alene, Lewiston, Sandpoint, Boise, Ketchum, Idaho Falls, and McCall. Tomorrow's vigil here in Moscow begins at 5 p.m. Again, that's inside the Kibbe Dome. The University of Idaho is asking people to use the hashtag #VandalStrong. KREM 2 will be at the vigil. We'll bring you coverage of that tomorrow. In Moscow, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
And police are still asking for any information that might help in this investigation. That tip line number right there on your screen, 208-883-7180. You can also email any tips to the email address, which is underneath that phone number right there in the purple line, also on your screen.